Hi and welcome to the 3 Cups Full blog. I'm Sharanya. I'm a life coach, and at 3 Cups Full we talk about how to live full of love, acceptance and respect. We talk about our inner voice and how to tune in to that quiet, still voice within and let that navigate our life. So this week I wanted to answer the question, what is the love cup? So all 3 cups are spaces inside us that we know deep down when they feel full and when they feel half full and when they feel empty. And each cup represents different parts of ourselves that need nourishment, that need to be full in order for us to function at our best. So the love cup is when it's full, you feel loved. It's as simple as that. Simple is not always easy. So when the love cup is full, you feel loved from the inside out, which means to say that you feel loved without condition. You feel as though you don't have to do anything or be anything outside of yourself to receive that love and to receive that appreciation. Now, growing up, a lot of us would find that sense of fullness or that dollop of love from the outside. So when we do something right, we're praised, we feel loved. And so we get into a pattern of seeking that love from the outside in order to feel full on the inside. And what happens unconsciously is slowly we give away our power and we give away the responsibility of feeling loved, place it into someone else's hands. That is the birthplace of all disasters. That's a bit excessive, but that is the birthplace of all kind of unhappy, unhealthy relationships with others, is when we give them the responsibility. You need to make me feel loved, and if you don't, there will be hell to pay. So how do we get out of that? We find ways to fill our love cup up for ourselves. We find ways to feel loved and we give it to ourselves. So everyone's different. What you need to feel loved is different to what I need to feel loved, to what someone else needs to feel loved. And so when you find what works for you, you give it to yourself, and the act of giving it to yourself is what fills up your love cup. If you know what you need to feel loved and you don't give it to yourself, it's like neglect. You feel, why am I not worthy of feeling loved? Why am I not worthy of having that in my life? Why does everyone else get that and I don't? So when you know what that is for you, so for example for me, it's a process from the inside out. So the love cup is full when there are no conditions to that love, which means to say, I love myself simply because I exist. Literally, because I was born. You don't ask a child, do they love themselves? They just do. They haven't thought not to yet. They haven't yet been conditioned to fear and to live without love. They just are. They're just full of love. And that's why they bring you back to love just by watching a child or a baby. So I remember a long time ago, when I was in primary school, I had a huge issue with being short. I'm 5'2". I love it now. I mean, I don't care either way now. But when I was in primary school and in high school, I had this issue about being short. So I didn't accept it and I didn't love it. I wish it would change. I would pray to the gods of height to please give me another couple of inches. Never happened. But I remember, this is going to show my age, but I remember when Christina Aguilera first came out with Genie in a Bottle. And that film clip was just so awesome. And I remember watching her thinking, if I was as tall as her, I would be happy. I was as tall as her, I would be happy. And she looked like an Amazon. She looked amazing. Now we all know Christina Aguilera is so short, but I didn't realize at the time. And there was no internet when I was growing up. So I would just see these videos that would come on TV and she looked amazing and beautiful. And I thought, yes, the key to happiness is to be tall. So I remember thinking if I was as tall as her, I'd be happy. And I as lots of young girls still do and used to, you'd get all your information from magazines. So I would have these magazines for girls. And I remember there was a profile on Christina in one of the magazines, and it gave everything, gave her height, I think even her weight, but her age and, like her career and all that kind of stuff, her interests, which was just so interesting when I was young. And her height was exactly 5'2". And I thought, oh no, how could that be? How could this girl be as tall as me? Like dead on 156 centimeters tall. So short like me. She obviously, like later on I realized that you can place dances in such a way and camera angles to make you look taller. I had no idea about all that stuff when I was 11 years old, but I realized that I said to myself, if I was as tall as her, I would be happy. And now, lo and behold, I am exactly as tall as her. So I remember that moment, and this alludes to the power of decisions as well, is that I had a moment there where I could decide to just dismiss everything, like my previous agreement with myself that I thought was unattainable, to be honest. Like I set up a lose-lose situation with myself. If I was as tall as her, I'd be happy, which justified my misery. But when I found myself in the position of, it's not lose-lose, it's actually win-win. She is as tall as me, now I can be happy. And I remember consciously making that decision of, I have to be happy now. I said to myself, if I'm as tall as Christina Aguilera, I would be happy, which totally justified my misery in being short. And now what do? So I decided to be happy. I thought, well, I set myself up for this. Now I have to be happy. It was a knock-on effect, and it brought me to self-love. Because what that ended up happening, that one decision to be happy, actually opened my eyes up to myself of all the ways in which I was not loving myself and not accepting myself as I am. But love is what happens when you love yourself without condition. So this was a condition that I chose to uphold for however many years, that I'm not allowed to feel loved and not allowed to be happy with myself because I'm not that tall. It got smashed as soon as I realized that my idol was as tall as me. And then one by one, out of the woodworks, all these people started becoming short all of a sudden that I always thought were Amazons. Jada Pinkett Smith, Kylie Minogue, Shakira, who's 4'9", I think. And I just realized height's got nothing to do with being happy. That's just a messed up story I was telling myself. But it prevented myself from loving myself because I couldn't see myself as I am. So we go through that process of getting rid of all the things that we deny ourselves happiness over. And in turn, that self-love slowly grows. And when you truly feel full with your love cup, it's when all those conditions are gone. It's just gone. Like all that stuff of deservability around love is just gone. You don't deserve love. You are love. You are allowed to feel loved. You don't have to put any conditions on it because those conditions can change. And that's not where your truth lies. Your truth lies in the fact that you were born, you exist, your nature is love, you deserve love. And so you don't deny yourself love based on conditions. And that's what it means to have a full cup of love. Now, you love yourself, that's one thing. You give yourself permission to love yourself. You don't withhold love from yourself. You do things that make you feel loved. Those are all great. And they keep your love cup, I would say, 3/4 full. The other part is that we're social creatures. We're not islands of ourselves, in and of ourselves. So we have other people around us. And part of having a healthy love cup is being very selective of who comes near it. Who comes near that love cup? Because you do get love from other people and you do experience that kinship with other people. So you decide who you will receive love from. They have to be worthy. They have to be of a quality of giving. They have to know. Well, they don't have to. Don't put conditions on people, but it's always good when you're around people who know how to love themselves. means you're off the hook. You can relax. You can just be yourself. And it's the same with other people. When you know how to love yourself, you let other people off the hook. You don't give them the burden of you needing to feel loved. But what happens is when your love cup is full, you become very selective of who comes near that cup, because that's when you're vulnerable and that's when your heart opens. And you want to make sure that the people you are exposing that open heart to can receive that and can keep it safe and won't, I was going to say destroy, won't destroy that fragile, beautiful, strong heart. Fragile and strong, you know, so it's tender. You have tended to it, you have looked after your heart, and then you allow certain people to come near it. And when you do that, and when you figured out how to do that for yourself, you have a full love cup. And so you walk into the world and you don't expect anyone else to love you more than you are willing to love yourself. And that is a place of fullness and empowered, very empowered place to be. I hope that explains what the love cup is. If you have any other questions, just write them below on the blog or underneath the YouTube video. If you found this helpful and would like more videos, then definitely subscribe to the blog at 3cupsfull.com.au or to the YouTube channel, and share it with your friends if you feel it's a good idea to share the idea of having a cup full of love from the inside out. So I will see you all next week for another video on the 3 Cups Full blog. Until then, take care and bye for now.